the Tomes and Tropes podcast, where books and friendships collide. I'm Becca.
And I'm Keri, and we're two friends who love to talk about books. Today we are taking a break from our regularly scheduled program of deep diving a specific book to talk about some topics between the lines.
Yeah, so before we get too far into our topics, I wanted to just check in, Keri, to see how you've been doing over the past month. Anything you want to share? What's been going on?
So can we just talk about the Bridgerton trailer and how that has like a grasp on all of us?
Yes.
Yeah, that's all I've been able to think about since it came out last week.
Okay.
Well, last week as of the time we were recording this, but
yes.
10 out of 10. I'm obsessed. I can't wait to see what they do. I need to know what happens. Eloise and Cressida, I need to know what's going on with that.
Stabbed me right through the heart.
I was mad for Penelope right there.
I wonder though, Eloise is such a schemer. Like, I wonder if it's like they're friendly in a way, like she's trying to like get some information.
It must be. There's got to be something. Or she's just like being really petty, which is valid after Penelope.
Yeah, they kind of left off in a bad spot.
Yeah, but other than that, I mean, nothing new. I just am living life.
Awesome.
Drinking coffee, having some snacks like I do.
Amazing.
Thinking about Bridgerton. What about you, Becca? What's been going on?
Yeah. So my husband and I love might be a strong word, but watch WWE, and WrestleMania happened a couple of weekends ago, or at the time of this recording, at the time of us recording, it happened a week and a half ago, I believe. And I'm still reeling. For those of you who are WWE fans, I don't know if any of you are because it's a very obscure market, but I'm still reeling and unsure how I feel about the ending of WrestleMania. So it's been an interesting time over here.
When I found out you were into that, I was like so confused for a second.
Why?
Like, I don't know. I forget wrestling exists. I think that's the main thing.
Yeah. My husband, so we don't tell a lot of people for that reason.
It's not a bad thing.
No, it's not a bad thing. And honestly, like, this WrestleMania was very like well written in the terms of like the different storylines that all came together at once. So it was very, and that's the kind of writing that I like. I like when you're not sure how things are going to come together and then they all come together in this one momentous moment. And that's what I like in books too. So this was just, it kind of like all, like the writing of it was just very well done this year. But yeah, my husband, when we first started dating, was like, I like this thing. And I was like, oh, okay. And then, being the good girlfriend that I was, I started watching it with him. And then, like, it took a little while to get hooked, if we're being honest. But now I'm hooked. So
I love it.
Yeah. But the other thing is, I just finished the third Harry Potter book. So Ooh. For our listeners who don't know, I have never read Harry Potter before, and I'm working through it now as somebody in my late 20s. And Keri, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Like I said, I just finished book 3. Does it get better?
Oh, yes.
Because I'm like struggling. Like, and I'm the person who, like, if I pick up a book, I finish it. And if I pick up a series, I finish it. And I'm on book 3 out of 7, and I would be totally okay at this point to just like let it be.
So with Harry Potter, I feel like you're like growing, you're supposed to grow up with them. So like the books get more advanced in content and like longer as you go, because like you're supposed to be like kind of reading it along his age. And like I also read this in my 20s, so like for the first time, so I get where you're coming from. Just keep trucking, it's worth it. The last two books are just incredible.
Okay. Yeah, I just felt like this book, especially at the end, it's Prisoner of Azkaban. Ooh, Prisoner of Azkaban. I don't know what that was. Um, but yeah, it just I was like, okay, great. We're great.
You'll
So
and I think you'll appreciate the books that you didn't enjoy as much when you watch the movies.
yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think that happened more. Like I kind of went through the first like four books really fast because
Mm,
they're very elementary. They're very like they're whatever. They're
yeah.
good, but like the stories are good. But I was just like I'm ready to get to the meat and the action.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah,
movies are incredible. And then you
for
could play
sure.
Hogwarts Legacy.
I know. I am trying really hard to not be like on the Harry Potter like additional extra things until I finish the books. And honestly, at this point, like I said, it's not really hard because I'm like, I don't see it right now, but I'm really excited for that possibility. So
You will. I think also it took me two watches of the movies to like fall in love with the world too. Like
okay.
visually, I guess.
Okay.
And then I
Gotcha.
live so close to Universal that it's just then I like fall in love even more.
Yeah.
So when I'm playing Hogwarts Legacy, it's like I'm home.
I love that. Are you reading anything right
I am. I'm reading the Siege and Storm book,
now?
so
Okay.
that's the Shadow and the Bone book 2. I'm
Okay.
almost done with it.
Okay.
Took me a lot to not finish it last night. I was really tired. So, so
Okay.
good. And I just finished listening to Akatar, the first book.
Okay. Okay.
I'm
So,
really
what are you
mad that
thinking?
Libby is taking forever to give me the second book.
Yeah.
I'm ready for it's Mist and Fury, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm ready to be in that world again. I like the world a lot. I feel
Prithian.
like yeah. I
Yeah.
like I don't know. I'm just excited to learn more about the fairies and the fae and the high fae and all the things.
Okay. So, I have a couple questions for you.
Okay.
What do you think about our two main characters right now? So, for in Akatar, that's Feyre, who's
Uh-huh.
the female main character, and Tamlin. What do you think about them right now?
I really liked Tamlin the entire first book until I met
Okay.
Reese. And then
Okay.
I was like, I kind of want her and Reese to be together.
Okay. Okay.
So that was my first thought.
Okay.
I feel like Tamlin's gonna change after the whole experience down there.
Okay.
Um, Without spoiling anything, I think Ferris' change will impact him. That's my
Okay.
prediction. And then
Okay.
I think Reese will definitely be back based
Okay.
on TikToks I've seen. I
I
have
told you not to look at TikToks.
I'm trying my best not to, but I really want to laugh at the memes that apply to just the first book, but it's really hard.
You have to get through you have to get through Mist and Fury. Like I'm gonna ban you from looking at Akatar TikToks
Uh,
until you get through Mist and Fury.
fine.
You cannot.
Fine. No, but I like them. I'm excited to keep listening. I
Okay.
think it's a really good audiobook for me to listen to. If I had to read
Yeah.
it, I would have probably DNF'd it
Yeah.
within
The
like the first
first
half.
yeah, the first Akatar book is like actual like Akatar is hard to get through at first, but it's
Hmm.
worth it and
Yeah,
it's much better on a reread.
I definitely see that. Like you're just getting acquainted with the world and like
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it though. I liked it more than I thought I would in my
Okay.
first read.
Okay. Cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yes. Are you reading anything else except for Harry Potter or are you just chilling?
Well, now I'm going to go on to the fourth one, reluctantly, but we'll get there.
You got it.
And then I am reading, it's called The Serpent and the Wings of Night. I literally just started it yesterday. And when I say just started, I read the prologue and then got distracted because I had other stuff to do besides read and had to like look at do my main like life responsibilities.
That's the
So
worst.
yeah, but I think that's a duology too. I think there's two of them, but um,
I've
yeah,
seen that on
so
TikTok.
yeah. So I'm reading that, but I also have a couple of recommendations. So I'm not typically like a thriller reader, but I have a couple of recommendations from a girl at work who like gave me some thriller recommendations. So we may see a couple of those pop up in future Between the Lines episodes.
Keep us updated.
Yeah, I will. I will.
I love it.
So we thought it would be fun to try to convince each other to read our favorite books based on just one quote. So basically, what we're going to do is we're both going to do this, but we're going to start with Keri. Keri is going to read a quote from a book and then tell me the title. And then I'm going to give my star rating of how likely I am to read it. And then she'll give me like a description of the book, and then we'll see if that changes my star rating based on just the one quote. So,
Oh, I forgot
Keri.
about the description part. Oh lordy. I'm
That's
glad
okay.
I'm glad that I picked two books I know really well.
Yeah, me too. Me too. All right. So, Keri, do you want to start?
Sure. So
Okay.
we're doing quote,
Mm-hmm.
name of book, right?
Yep.
And then description.
Yep.
Okay, here we go. All right. The quote is, "You are safe," he said firmly. "You have my name and my family, my clan, and if necessary, the protection of my body as well." So this is from
Ooh.
Outlander,
Okay.
which I love.
So, which you love.
And I
I
need
love it.
I need the last book in the series, or like the next book in the series. I've been dying. It's just
Okay.
taking forever to finish it.
So, is this the first one?
This is the first book because it's unfair to pick any other.
Okay. So I'd say probably off of this, I'd give it maybe 4 stars
Okay.
out
That's
of
higher than
five.
I expected.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm surprised since I told you to watch the show and you weren't like a huge fan of the show.
I liked the show.
But you weren't like a huge fan. I feel like the show like grabbed me. And so I read the book.
Oh, that
So I
makes
watched the
sense.
show first and then read the books. The books are obviously more better. So
Okay.
more better. Better. Words
I
are
think that might be why it's a 4 because you told me what it was, so I knew it was Outlander already,
mm.
and I already watched this. Like I already watched, I think season 1 of the show.
Yeah,
So
this is from season 1 too.
yeah, so I would have been like, oh, I would have read it. I feel like it would have been better in a book.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
The show was really good until like season 3. And then it just kind of
Oh,
eh.
okay.
Especially compared to the books.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, so Outlander
Yes.
is about Claire. It follows Claire. She goes
Okay.
on a vacation with her husband Frank to Scotland after the war. They both served in the war, so they're
Okay.
gonna go reconnect. She goes and they're exploring and they find these stones, and she ends up getting transported back 200 years or more, I forget, in
Okay.
1700s. So, woo, many, many years. So,
Okay.
yeah, I think it's 200 years because they're in the 1900s, and then she gets thrown back into the 1700s
Okay.
where she is met with all kinds of dangers and societal struggles, and we meet Jamie Fraser, who is our other main character. And that's all I'll
Okay.
say because
Okay.
I'm bad with spoilers. So, zip, zip.
So I just have to tell you this because I think you'll get a kick out of it. So I use the Calm app because I need help sleeping sometimes. And there is a story who is that's read by the actor who plays Jamie, is
Mhm.
it? And he tells like he just reads you this story to like help you fall asleep. Ah,
His accent is
the
amazing.
accent.
I need to get that app just for that story.
It's a good time.
He's great. 10 out of 10. And that soundtrack, if you all are looking for a good
Mm,
soundtrack to listen to, that's what got me into Outlander. It was just the soundtrack, honestly.
okay,
Yeah. All
very
right.
cool.
Becca, tell us yours because I could talk about Outlander all day.
Okay, so my quote says, "Bleeding can be staunched, Viz. Wounds heal. The cut's only worth it if there's poison on the blade."
Ooh.
Yep. And this is from The Will of the Many.
Oh, okay. I think, let's see, the poison part intrigues me.
Okay.
I would give it I would give it a 4, mainly because I would trust you with anything you told me to read.
Okay.
You haven't steered me wrong yet.
That's true. I am a good recommender of books. We have a long legacy
We
going.
do. We really do.
Oh man. Okay. So, like I said, this is about the will of the many, and the will of the many follows Viz, which is the character that's mentioned in this quote, and he gets adopted. He's an orphan, and he gets adopted by he's basically a senator, and gets trained to go to this academy that trains um, high profile kids and to be like high profile members of society. And there's all of this political intrigue and family dynamics that are really interesting. And Viz happens to be the son of a ruler from a different kingdom that got taken over by the hierarchy that is like he's like serving now. So it's a lot of like internal turmoil and
Ooh.
um I love going to classes. So like it's at this academy that was super cool and the magic system is really cool. So I
Uh,
highly recommend it if you haven't read it. Um a word of caution, and I did post a video about this on our Instagram. A word of caution is that there are a lot of Latin
mm,
related words, conjugations, things like that. So if you are not like it takes a little while to like get a hang of the names, but it's definitely worth it.
mm. Yeah, I really want to read that one. That one's on my in the back of my head.
It's a good one. It is book one. I don't know how many are supposed to be in the series, but it is book one.
Mm.
So
It's okay. I'm already waiting for tons of other books to come out with their rest of their series.
what is with us and not reading completed series?
Who knows? That's why we're doing Divine Rivals now.
Yes, exactly. All right, Carrie, do you want to do your second one?
Yes. It's very short but I love this whole monologue in this book, but I didn't want to bless your ears with the entire thing. And
Aw.
I basically memorized it because I love it
Okay.
so much. Anyways, you pierce my soul. I am half agony, half hope. So this is
Okay.
from Persuasion by Jane Austen. We're going to go with a classic here.
Okay. I am. Oof. So I'm gonna say just based off the quote, this is probably a 3.5.
Valid, valid, valid.
Mostly because I this quote seems very dramatic,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't always love the dramatic professions of love.
Uh, that's
But
okay.
you have recommended Persuasion to me before, so if we go
Yes, we
on
watched the
every
movie.
I was gonna say we watched a movie. If we go on everything that I know about it, it's probably like a 4.5.
Yeah. It's like it's a Jane Austen book, so you're gonna struggle a bit until the end.
Yeah.
when you get that dramatic. Obviously, I love that like dramatic, like I love you, that type of thing. But it follows the description here is it follows Anne Elliot, who I had to look up their names really quick because I'm horrible with names. But she, Anne Elliot, and Frederick Wentworth, they fell in love, and then tons of years later, they meet again because she says no to him because she was persuaded to pick someone else because they were young. He didn't have any money, blah, blah, blah. They
Okay.
meet again, and he's trying to find a wife, but he's kind of avoiding her, and they're avoiding each other. And there's this whole like, will they get together? Will he pick someone else? Type of thing, and then we'll see what happens.
Okay.
I love
Okay.
it. It's one of her smaller books and one of her easier reads.
Okay.
So if you're like looking to get into Jane Austen, I think that one's a good one to get into, especially if you've seen the movie first, because then you kind of have like a general understanding of the story and you can like enjoy it better.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. All
Okay.
right.
Very nice.
What's your second one?
My second one is very on brand for right now.
Oh.
It says, quote, a man with charm is an entertaining thing, and a man with looks is, of course, a sight to behold. But a man with honor, ah, he is the one, dear reader, to which young ladies should flock.
Oh, is this Bridgerton?
It is.
The Dear Reader.
I know, the dear reader. That's the one that gave it away. But this is the second Bridgerton book,
The
which
best one.
is the Viscount Who Loved Me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which follows Anthony and Kate. And Keri, I know
Kate.
you've already read it, but out of the quote, what would you give
uh,
it? What would you recommend it to somebody else, I guess?
like stars.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, it's a good story, so I'd say like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Leaning like 4.5. We'll go with 4.5.
Okay. Yeah. So, like I said, this is the Bridgerton. It follows Anthony and Kate. It follows basically Anthony is the oldest son of the oldest son of the oldest son 7 times over of the Bridgerton family. And he is looking for a wife that he does not want to love because he sees marriage as an act of convenience. In the prologue, this is in the prologue, so it's not giving anything away, but his dad dies and he watches his mom like just grieve his dad. So that's why he doesn't want to have a love marriage. Like he just wants to have a wife that like he can tolerate
Mm-hmm.
basically. Um and it's just his story of going through the Tons ball season trying to find a wife. And it's my favorite Bridgerton novel.
Same. It's very on brand with the tropes that we like.
It's very on brand. Very on brand. It's also so I am afraid of both bees and thunderstorms. So it really like rings true.
Oh yeah. What a good book.
Yes, very good.
And I really like that season. I know it's different than the book, but I still enjoy it in a separate capacity.
Yeah, that's something I think we're going to talk about on a later episode. Maybe we'll do a bonus episode when season 3 comes out. Maybe we'll have to do 2 since it's coming out in 2 parts, but the books and the seasons are like the books and the TV show is so different. Like it's almost like you're watching a completely different story because of all the additional characters you see, all the things that they have to change because it's TV. So, it's very interesting. I You didn't like season 1 though. That you don't like Daphne and Simon's
No,
story.
I did not like season 1, nor did I like the first book.
Yeah, I was going to say like I preferred season 1 of the show compared
Mm,
to the first book, but the
I
second
don't
book
know.
by far to season 2.
I think just Simon and Daphne were both so annoying. So, I mean, I feel like if you can't fall in love with your main characters, it's just not a good book.
Yeah.
Like, if I had liked one of them, it would have been better, but I thought they both were incredibly annoying. And, like,
Okay.
fought that throughout the whole series. Whenever they were on the page, I was like, ugh, they're back. And just, like, skip over
So
them.
like the whole book.
Yeah. Well, no, even, like, in Anthony and Kate's and Benedict's and Penelope and,
Oh,
Colin, like, those are the ones I read so far. But, like, even when they pop up, I'm like, "Can you go away? Like, this is not your book. Leave."
interesting.
Yeah. Like,
Okay.
they only have, like, usually 1 or 2 lines, but I'm annoyed when they come back.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I really liked season 1 of
Mm.
the show. Um I don't know. I like Daphne, but
To each their own.
to each their own, right? Uh, anyways. Okay.
Anyways.
So, for those of you who don't know, since we have our very own resident past library worker on the podcast, we
Uh,
wanted to just chat a little bit, talk to Keri, and just share our love for library workers because they are doing the Lord's work. So,
mhm.
Keri,
Yeah.
can we start with how long you worked at the library?
Yeah, I worked at my school's, like, my university's library for 2 years.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
And during those 2 years, what were your favorite memories of working in that library?
Oh my gosh. I have so many. I, like, worked at the front desk a lot, um, but I literally had, like, the best librarians I worked with. So, there were, like, these 4 main ladies that worked, like, ran the library, and I just learned so much from them. They were so fun. Um, they like, everything from getting to, like, man that front desk and read while working because it's a library and you can do that. Um, I got to work on, like, syllabi and helping people find books, but honestly, it was
Oh,
just the 4 main ladies that I worked with who were amazing because I got to, like, do a lot of the opening shifts.
okay.
So we got to, like, talk usually for the first hour of my shift because it's like 7 to 8, no one really comes, and I got to help
Mm,
them with, like, stuff I needed a library degree to do, but they let me do anyway. So that was fun.
nice.
Yeah.
Okay. What was your biggest pet peeve working in a library?
This one, people just never took advantage of the library. Like, yes, it was a school library, so there were, like, more textbook type books there. But education majors were, like, the only ones who actually took advantage of the kids area and stuff. But, like,
Okay.
even in the kids area, you had, like, books, like, and I say kids, it's like everything from kids to young adults, but they were like, they had really good books like the Hunger Games series and Percy Jackson and all kinds of, like, those good books that you could take advantage of that you wouldn't need
Mm-hmm.
to, like, buy. And I didn't realize that till I started working there. So,
Gotcha.
and, like, you there's just so many knowledge, like, so much knowledge you can get from all the books there.
Okay. Okay. And my last question for you,
Ooh.
if you could let all of our listeners know one thing about working in a library that you don't think anybody knows or everybody knows, what would you want to share?
Mm. This one is hard, this question. I'm not really sure for, like, your local library, but I think the best thing is that, like, you should go support them and use your local libraries and just always be kind to the workers. I feel like a lot of people treat them like nerds, and while they may be, like, they're really awesome because they've read a ton of books and they're a great resource to talk to about books you want to read. So, I really enjoy talking to my local librarians.
Okay. Okay. Well, overall, we just want to shout out all the library workers out there
Yeah.
because we on the Tomes and Tropes podcast love our local
Love them.
libraries. Both Keri and I are frequent visitors of our local libraries. And for
Mhm.
all our listeners, we highly recommend that you get a library card and you go to your local library. They're one of the only public places you can still go where it's still free to use all their resources if you have a
Mhm.
card. So they have books, obviously, that's where our hearts are at, but they have like computers you can use, they have movies, they have textbooks. They have come out recently. I say they, I don't really know who it is, but there's the wonderful Libby app that allows you to take out and like be able to read ebooks of
Mhm.
really popular books too. So maybe your local library is involved in that. Both of ours are, so we use
Yeah.
Libby a lot.
Or
But
Hoopla. Like Hoopla is also
yep,
one
Hoopla's
that
another.
my library doesn't, but I know a lot of I think your library does.
I don't know.
I don't know. Not every library has it's usually like one or the other.
Yeah, but either way, they're really, really wonderful places. And the more
The
that we
best.
can support them, the longer they'll be around. So,
Yeah.
library workers, we love you. We appreciate all the work that you do. Thank you so much for keeping alive the places that we love.
Yes. But thank you so much for listening to us today. For more content, make sure to follow us on Instagram or TikTok and or TikTok. Come on both if you want.
Yeah,
It's
both is good.
yeah, both is great actually. I don't know why I was saying or because we want you on both. But
Yes.
anyways, you can find us there at Chomes and Tropes Pod, or if you have thoughts about this episode or this book, email us at tomesandtropespod@gmail.com. And obviously the best way to support us is by rating and reviewing wherever you listen and sharing this with your book loving friends.
Yep. And if you are watching on YouTube, make sure to like and subscribe to our channel because
Yes.
the podcast is now on YouTube. We're all caught up, so we can
Yes.
start
Now
saying
we
that.
can yes. I even forgot we're all caught up.
but but if you do want to hear more deep dives, more content from us, we have done deep dives into 3 books already. So go check out our episodes on The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, as well as our episodes on The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, and we just finished Divine Rivals.
Mhm.
Moving forward, we're going to be doing Ruthless Vows, which is going to be a 4-parter because it's split into 4 parts, and we're so excited to finish that story and wrap the story up of Iris and Roman. We're very, very excited.
I'm not
But
ready.
oh, I'm ready.
If you want to hear us talk about this, go back to Divine Rivals Part 3 episode.
Yes, exactly. But that will be happening. We'll go straight into part 1 starting next week.
We'll see you next week.
Stay curious and keep reading.
Bye.
Bye.